Hakuyoi, Hakuyoi, Ozumo. Hakuyoi, Hakuyoi, Ozumo.
Hello, welcome to Sumo Mainichi. My name is Dave. I'm here with Amy, and this is our live commentary of the Juryo Division, Day 8, Natsu Basho. Hello, Sumo.
Hello, Sumo. Hello, Sunday Sumo. Hello, Nakabi. We're here for all the great action of Juryo. It's one of our, well, probably our favourite division. My favourite division. I love it.
Quite partial to Sundame.
Oh, yeah. Fair enough.
But Juryo, it's like a halfway stop on a highway to success. You see Rikishi twice in their journey. Well, sometimes a lot more. But as they're on the rise up, and when they're coming back down. Some Rikishi bounce around in and out of Juryo a lot more than others do, though.
I like that. I like when you see them come back and it's like, hello, old friend.
Exactly.
You're doing badly.
Or, hello, new friend. You're doing quite well.
You've popped up from the bottom of Juryo.
But as we were talking about on our Day 1 stream, which you can check out on our YouTube channel, is that at the moment, Juryo has seen a lot of champions exit. There was a time there where we had Ichinojo, Asaniyama, Tochinoshin. Two of those have retired very recently, Tochinoshin and Ichinojo. Asaniyama, of course, making his way back to Makuuchi and absolutely wrecking there. We've got a couple of Makushita bouts to go on your screen at the moment. On your left, we have Mukai Inakano up against, well, talk about an old friend, Akiseyama. Looks like a big crowd in to check out Juryo as we see Akiseyama gradually trying to move what's his name? Mukai Inakano backwards, but it looks like Old Mooks is too good for Akiseyama and he slams him off the doyo, bending his back over in quite an uncomfortable way.
Yeah, no win for Akiseyama today. He is 2-2. Now on Nakabi, Mukai Nakano is 2-1. He may have to become Mooks because that is not a name that rolls off the Australian tongue, I can tell you. There's something wrong in the middle there for my mouth. Yeah. Quite prepared to admit it's my own fault.
Good morning to Jonathan. Thanks for joining us today. And konnichiwa back to you, Tim Sumo, who is right now in Japan. Can't speak now because I'm too jealous. Hope you're having a great time over there, Tim. Last bout of Makushita.
It's Kamito against another old friend, Terutsuyoshi. One who it's not so fun to see these days, is it?
Terutsuyoshi, yeah, he's been wanting for wins, I think is the best way to say it. But I think one of the big stories of Juryo this time around is Aqua picking up the Terutsuyoshi salt throw.
We should flag this right now.
We need to flag this right now. We were watching Juryo, I think, on day 4 or 5.
Yep.
It might have been happening before that.
I think it was 2 days ago. So if we're 8 now, I reckon it was day 6 that I first saw it.
Yeah. So we were relaxing watching Juryo. We'd finished the podcast. It was late at night. We saw Aqua haul a big handful of salt in the air, and there was just silence. Like, I rubbed my eyes. I didn't know what was going on.
And he did the over-exaggerated pick-up as well, the massive throw. And there's just a lot of questions there because obviously this was Terutsuyoshi's bag of salt and he's not allowed to do it anymore. What is Aqua thinking? Has he talked to Terutsuyoshi? Well, is it a taking over of the mantle? Or is he just wanting to get some claps?
Yeah, I do wonder about this. It's a very Aqua thing just to assume that because no one's doing it, he could take it over.
Yeah, I love it. I love him sleeping at night and suddenly going, I've got it. You know what I'm going to do tomorrow? A huge salt throw.
Well, if I don't mind this as a precedent, as long as a young Rikishi picks up the Koriyuki Hoot.
Yes, please.
that he was told to stop a few years
Rude.
before his retirement.
Well, if Aqua had have got onto that one, he would never stop. It is Kamito up against Terutsuyoshi. Terutsuyoshi coming into this at 1-2, so he's managed to scrounge that one win so far. Kamito on the same score. He ducks low, Terutsuyoshi, and he's thrown straight down in what we do see fairly often for him these days. His one win was against Dewanoryu on day 6. But obviously something very, very wrong there. There'll be no return. Well, we don't know yet. He's 1-3.
1-3. Funny
He could come
things have
back.
happened. He
Yeah,
could. Welcome to the stream, Thaddeus. I agree. I think one of the problems I've had with Aqua is that when he's on, his sumo is so good. He just gets caught up in meme sumo too often. We saw
Totally
there were a couple of basho there where he needed to have a car accident before he could do anything.
And a bus. One was a bus.
One was a bus, bus and a car. The other times where he went on a kakanage bend and just tried that technique day after day
Woke
after
up in
day.
the middle of the night. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. He always has these ideas and just executes them forevermore.
And shout out to Tim Sumo, who has returned back to Australia today from his trip to Japan. Tim, this is a hard day.
Yeah.
We're here for you.
Yeah. We know the feeling.
The chat are here to support you through what is a very, very difficult time.
You can remember every single second of your trip. You're back there mentally, but you're also very, very tired. Siggy, welcome. It's so great to see you. Thanks for not going to sleep and thanks for letting us nick a couple of your photos of Tochinoshin and Aoyama. I did say I hope she doesn't mind, but pop them up on our Instagram last night. You had the best set of photos of those guys. It was just an absolute trip down memory lane.
Let's look at our first Juryo bout of today. On your screen at the moment, Tomokaze, Juryo 12 up against, who's that? Chiyonoumi, Makushita visitor today. Now Tomokaze famously went out injured back in November 2019. He was rising up the Maegashira ranks. I just read today. So he dislocated his knee. I think it was his right knee from memory. Ligament damage so bad that doctors were considering amputation.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
I did not know that.
No,
wow.
this was in an article that I found. I can't remember where I found it, but it was with a big, long interview with Tomokaze. And so he now actually has a disability certificate because his right foot is almost non-functional.
Wow.
And he's said that he's come out only very recently, I think it was only this year, to say that he carries a disability certificate as a way to show kids who have a disability that you can succeed still.
Oh, Tomokaze.
I mean, Tomokaze.
I knew I loved him already, but that is really special. Wow, what a story! You have to show me that article.
Yeah, I will.
Hopefully, he can continue on in the Nishonozeki style this afternoon, because we've had a win from Takahashi already and Onosato just recently in Makushita. So take heart from that. Gambare Tomokaze. His opponent is Chiyonoumi. He's coming into this at 1-3. He's got a whole lot of kachikoshi recently, and he'd be looking for another one.
Gunbai is pointed forward. They are ready to go. You can see that heavily strapped right foot of Tomokaze there. Tomokaze stays up high, thrusting attacks, forcing Chiyonoumi back, but Chiyonoumi moves around the doyo, makes space for himself, but Tomokaze's all over him, stays with him, continues to attack. But here, Chiyonoumi turns the tide, reverses the momentum. Oh, very flamboyant swipe away of the Sagari there to say that he's very happy with his performance there. Great win from Chiyonoumi. Tomokaze just couldn't put him away there.
Yeah, he nearly got there, didn't he? He came forward well. He stepped forward with both feet. You can't really tell that there's anything going on down there. He looked strong today, pushing forwards. But just that last push didn't land. Chiyonoumi slithering away there to his left. And then it was his attack that finished Tomokaze off.
Welcome to the chat. Speaker of Truth, Monster Dong 420. Great to have you here today. And welcome, Australian friends, Annie and Scott, from the Sunshine Coast.
Yes, maybe when Tomokaze retires, he will become a concert pianist from my other job. Maybe that would be lovely as well. Maybe we'll do a little feature on him on my other job.
Well, you can talk about your other job. It's in classical music,
Yep.
broadcasting. Are we thinking there's a tour potential?
Well, maybe.
Could we talk? Do you know anyone at the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra? Think about
Everybody
that.
at the Melbourne Symphony Orchestra.
Think about that for a show. Sumo and classical music.
Yeah.
Tomokaze probably thinking of probably one of your more mainstream Beethoven sonatas, something that kids and families.
Moonlight. I think you'd
Moonlight
go to
Sonata.
Yeah.
And maybe we could clear out the front, maybe 12 to 20 rows of Hamer Hall.
Yeah.
Put down a doyo.
Yeah.
Oh, I think there's something in this.
Those seats do come out, actually, those seats at the front.
You're
know.
telling me like I don't know this.
We're in the arts. We worked in that building for 20 years.
Well, not quite that long for me. I was there 10 years.
Yeah, you
but
were.
yeah, I know you can pull the seats out. Not sure about the load-bearing capacity of that floor. I imagine that probably 20 square metres of clay going on top of it. I know it's hollow underneath. Last thing you want is a few ricochet caving into level 3 of Hamer Hall.
That is a very specific picture I now have in my head. Hey Ben, how are you going? So great to have you here. Daniel as well. Our next Sumo and Sonata night. Yeah, that's the way.
Oh, I like it. Oh.
They
Yeah,
are
I mean
doing
this
crossovers MSO.
this is just screaming to me tickets. This will sell tickets.
Hidenoumi v Chiyosakaye. Hidenoumi the other day had to be wheeled off in the giant wheelchair, but he came straight back the next day, and I think he won yesterday after that, did he? He did not.
Now let's have a look at the right knee taping. They call it negative taping, where you tape everything apart from the bit that's injured.
Yeah.
Advanced taping technique there.
And
on display.
under the knee there's a padding taping which is actually holding the knee up. If that wasn't there, the knee bit would actually just fall down.
The knee bit. Yeah, that is what they call load-bearing tape, or a load-bearing roll in this case.
That's right.
Hidenoumi on 3 and 4 from Juryo 11. Chiyosakaye, Juryo 12. He's on 4 and 3. He's not quite his highest rank. He was Juryo 10 back in November of last year. Did fall back to Makushita in March, but fought his way back to Juryo with a 5 and 2 then.
He's looking pretty solid, as you pointed out in the chat. And can he take on the obviously extremely injured Hidenoumi, who is not wanting to face up to his problems? He did lose to Tomokaze yesterday, that's right, yep. Making Tomokaze look fantastic. Hidenoumi quite far back, they both are here. Hidenoumi gingerly comes forward, but it's called as a mata. I don't know about that.
I think Hidenoumi was very interested in getting this one over and done with as fast as he could. Or did he believe that should have been pulled up a mata?
I can't quite tell which way around that was. I felt like Chiyosakaye broke, perhaps, given the death stare that Hidenoumi gave him afterwards, but he just could have been mad anyway, or in pain. They get resettled again. Chiyosakaye doesn't have no tape on him. He's also quite taped up. Left foot, left elbow, and he comes forward. A better touchy eye here from Hidenoumi, much better, but he's still being moved backwards. And that final push, absolutely not necessary. I'm sorry, Chiyosakaye, doing well. It's fine. I know you get carried away in the heat of the moment, but to push Hidenoumi off the doyo like that, I did not like it.
I'm starting to wonder if Hidenoumi's Kyujo isn't around the corner. We really saw him just step away from Chiyosakaye right at the end here. As we see the replay.
He's 33.
Yeah. Well, he's 33.
Oh, that's all right. He had to get him over.
It's
that's
fine,
okay, actually.
but you could tell that Hidenoumi had given up on that bout.
Yeah.
So
sometimes you can push and hold at the same time. I guess that's what I would have liked him to do then. The old push, pull the arm back so that he doesn't fall off. But the push itself, it was okay. I do need to say, hearing this beautiful yobidashi work here as usual, that I saw in Midnight Sumo's Discord today that someone had got a knock on their door, an American, because it was overnight, a knock on their door from their elderly neighbour upstairs who said, "Can you stop playing loud jazz all night?" And he was like, "Oh, I really haven't been playing jazz." He thought about it for a bit and he realised that it was that she thought that the yobidashi calls that he was listening to without headphones were saxophones when he talked to her again.
So much to unpack there.
Yeah.
So little understanding of jazz.
I thought it was quite funny in terms of what
that's very funny.
she thinks jazz sounds like.
Yeah. Question here in the chat. Annie would like to know if we've watched Sanctuary.
Great question, Annie. And you have, I did see you ask that question in our messages, and I just, I have to admit I was putting it off to answer until we watched more. We were thinking of talking about every episode, and then we watched the start of it and we did not love it. And so we kind of put off watching the rest.
We got about 3/4 of the way through. It does feel like it's getting a good reception. I just don't know who it's made for.
Yeah, I've seen most people say they think it's made for people who don't watch sumo, and that's fine, but I just don't feel like I can comment without watching the rest, to be honest.
I'll comment on the first 3/4 of an episode we saw. It felt like, I would guess that it's made for people who don't know about sumo.
Yeah.
Yet it seemed to spend an inordinate amount of time on very sumo things.
Yeah.
And again, I feel like what we watch in those 45 minutes, if you'd given me a copy of the MP4, I could have cut probably 10 to 15 minutes out of it.
It was so beautifully filmed.
It was beautifully filmed.
Amazing.
Acting is great.
It was extremely violent, but that's not a massive problem for me.
That's sumo, baby.
But I just wasn't really interested. But I know a lot of the drama happened later, so I do feel like I need to give it a chance.
We will watch more of it. It's just that Zelda Tears of the Kingdom came out, so I don't want to watch anything on a screen that doesn't have Link building things on it right now.
I need to be flying through the air on my paraglider or in bed or watching sumo. Yeah, keep watching it. Episode 4, it's getting there. Yep. I think we definitely need to do that. And who doesn't like jazz? The lady living upstairs from that guy.
Well, but I think jazz has a number of subgenres, and saxophone jazz.
Yeah, wailing saxophone jazz is one, and maybe it does sound like Kunio.
Maybe. Mr. Sumo, Chiamaru is up next against Shimanoumi. Chiamaru at Juryo 10 coming in on 3 and 4. Shimanoumi coming in on 4 and 3. Chiamaru is a little bit too far down the Banzuke for my liking, being at Juryo 10.
Yeah, it's not right.
It's not right, is it? It's been a long time since he's been down that far. I'm scrolling back here. It was 2016 in May. Are we seeing the sunset of a great Rikishi? Who knows? It looks like they're ready to go here. Shimanoumi down first. Chiyonoumi tries to get on the back of the belt, but Shimanoumi defends well. Chiyonoumi taking backward steps. Shimanoumi drives him to the line, takes him over. I would expect a little bit more defense from Chiyonoumi, but look at him. He looks despondent.
Yeah.
Hates what happened today.
I'm just going to give a tiny little heads up here to everyone that we have started a Mr. Sumo inheritance discussion in amongst ourselves. I'm not even going to put anything out there at this stage, but we've started talking about it.
It's been more of a scoping document, I think, to start to document the process of how eventually, when Chiamaru decides to hang up the Sagari, who will be the next Mr. Sumo? And
after the failed Shodai experiment, which I will wipe off the cards right now, that was my bad.
Look, I think that, at that point we were into kind of fast iteration.
Yeah.
We were working quickly.
We didn't understand the weight of Mr. Sumo.
We received a lot of feedback about it and the process that we went through. So I feel that we're just starting to put a bit of a set of guidelines together so that we're ready when it does happen. So, I mean, our main overarching goal is to make sure that there's no gap in the existence of a Mr. Sumo, that's our number one priority.
Yes, he is not out of it yet. You're absolutely right, and that's why they're only preliminary discussions. Barely even tabled yet.
Yeah.
They're not even saved. I got rid of the document afterwards. Just let it evaporate into the ether.
Well, I mean, it was kind of sticky notes and a blank wall and, it was that kind of vibe.
Just throwing things to see if it sticks,
exactly, Exactly. And we grouped a few of the post-it notes together and see if we could see any themes.
And we set our values.
Yeah, we set our values, all right.
It's Kinowaka up against Fujiseyan. Kinowaka, I saw a lovely photo of Tim just recently with Kinowaka. Must have been on the second day you went, Tim. That's a great get. He looked massive. He's a very big guy. And he's 3 and 4 at this point. I thought that he was going to be the Takakento inheritor of the businessman, but he's shown way too much emotion about his sumo for me to ever consider that. Now he gets excited, he pushes people off when he feels like he can get a win. He's really into his sumo, Kinowaka. He's got 3 losses in a row the last 3 days, so can he pull off a win today against his opponent Fujiseyan?
Fujiseyan, the 25-year-old from Saitama-ken, Japan. He's 178 centimetres tall, which is exactly my height in shoes. Bare feet, a little bit less than that.
Is it?
Yep. Yep.
You don't have really massive soles of the feet that squash down.
No, these are just normal shoes. Fujiseyan on his... He's on debut in Juryo, of course, coming in at Juryo 13. 3 and 4, not a bad way to start.
Fujiseyan comes forward quickly and he pushes Kinowaka straight out. That was a surprise there. He hit his body so hard, came out of the Tachio so quick I barely clocked it. Sorry about that, Fujiseyan. But just no opposition from Kinowaka there. It was the sweet spot on the chest and the stomach that took him back straight away. What happened here?
Well, I think Kinowaka was a bit too concerned with finding a belt grip on Fujiseyan. While that was happening, Fujiseyan was able to bring the body in close, lean forward and high, and just really forced Kinowaka to give ground there. So a great Oshidashi win for Fujiseyan to even the ledger at 4 and 4, Kinowaka 3 and 5.
Well, that's a lovely T-shirt that we're being shown there. I haven't seen that one anywhere.
Well, I think I know that T-shirt.
Do you?
Yeah, that was one of the T-shirts that was available while we were there.
In Osaka, on the lesser merch places, because there was a big official merch place down the bottom, and then there were the side merch places.
No, not the side merch places. The clothing store that was doing a collaboration with the JSA. Do you remember we tracked down this shop that was doing a bunch of sumo T-shirts?
Opened at 11, like lots of shops
Opened at 11,
do in Japan.
yeah. And we got there at 10:30.
Yep.
These T-shirts were hot garbage.
Well, they were terrible, but now I see that.
Well,
I want it.
I know. Doesn't
there
look
were
too
some
bad at all.
Waka Brothers T-shirts.
But
they were funny colour.
Oh, the prints looked really cheap. Yeah. And it only had 2 of the Waka Brothers.
Yeah, I'm not getting anything without Waka Takamoto.
I will not buy that on principle.
No, thank you very much.
There are 3 brothers.
That one looked really, really good, actually. It had Konowaka, and now, of course, we've moved on, but I can't remember the other 4, but that looked cool.
2 Rikishi down on their luck. Tsushimanada up against Chiyonokuni. Chiyonokuni on your screen at the moment, 0 and 7. 7 straight days of heroic performances that he was cheated out of wins by, and I'm not going to go through every occasion there, but he deserved every one of those wins, and it's very, very unlucky to be on 0-7. I think as a group of people sharing the collective enjoyment of sumo, we need to sit and watch this bout from Chiyonokuni today with the understanding that it may be one of the last, if not the last bout we see. A Makakoshi record will see Chiyonokuni slide out of Juryo. Now look,
we need to watch it with the energy of these two
here.
here.
No. The opposite energy of that.
No, stoicism.
No, I feel like
You
that
want
lady.
excitement. You want support.
I feel like if Chiyonokuni looked over and looked at those two people holding that towel, he'd be like, I need to retire right now. Tsushimanada, it's been a rough basho for him. Struggling to get any forward movement at all. Loves going backwards at the touchy eye. You know, I got a good feeling about this for Chiyonokuni today.
Yeah, if he's going to win any, I suppose this is a good option for him.
This is it. This is it.
Manada started off with 4 losses. He managed 1 win against Chiyosakaya, which was a bit of a surprise. There is a Tsushimanada fan in the house, so if he could just look up into the right spot in the fairly large Tokyo Stadium, then he would see that support and maybe muster some courage from that. But then 2 losses after that to Chiamaru, not the great loss at this stage, and Tamashoho.
Now, I read, and maybe someone can confirm this, that one of the co-stars of Sanctuary is Chiyonokuni's brother.
Yes. It's not the main actor. Somebody here will know. I think it's one of the guys. Yeah, Enya, yeah. Or Enka.
Enka is Japanese blues.
Well, Enya's Enya.
I never thought of that, but yeah. Sail away, Chiyonokuni, sail away. Looks like they're ready to go. A hush falls over the crowd at Kokugikan. Tsushimanada locks up the arms of Chiyonokuni. He's rotated himself around to the opposite position. Tried to slow himself down, but really Tsushimanada all over him today.
Feast your eyes right now, because this could be the last
Remember
time.
this moment as well.
He's pulled it off with a flourish, the Sagari. That could be a sign.
I think that might be it.
I'm looking for every sign here.
Abema does not care if you're looking for a sign, because they're much more interested in showing Tsushimanada. Yeah. Not a lot of sumo on display from Chiyonokuni today.
No.
I hate to see this.
He did manage to move to the side and a little bit out of the way, so maybe didn't go straight back. But
I
still,
agree.
that is a...
There are some positives.
Oh, thank you.
There are some
I was
positives.
trying not to be just stoic. But yes, that is a makakoshi for Chiyonokuni. Will this be the end of... I'm going to call him the great man.
Oh,
Will this be the end of the great man's career? Will he go on to... well, who knows?
Well, gee, I mean, there are
restaurant?
many options. Food and beverage,
Yeah.
obvious. Sanctuary Season 2 would probably be in pre-production.
Oh, yeah.
Do we know about Chiyonokuni's acting chops?
Yeah. He could be a
Oh,
Oyakata or
okay.
a brother, an older brother for someone.
Method acting.
Yeah.
I like it.
No, well, that's because he's old. Wouldn't
Well,
even
no,
have the
but-
method. That's who he kind of who he is.
Well, no, that's what I mean. That's what... Well, yeah, I see, yes, but maybe they wouldn't need to give him a script just to say,
Oh, yeah.
here's your little brother.
Yeah,
He's just been bullied at at his hair.
yeah,
You know, that kind of naturalistic style.
yeah.
Almost documentary.
I feel like he'd be a good actor. We have Atamifuji on 6 and 1 at Juryo 8. This is fantastic to see. I think we can all agree that he's found some form here. He's found some rhythm and stability. And he today is up against Tamashoho, who has done the same. He's also 6 and 1.
This is a great piece of programming for Nakabi. 2 Rikishi doing what they do best. Now, I was digging around on the dark web earlier in the week, fired up my Tor browser, put a VPN on, checked out a few sumo conspiracy forums.
Oh, yeah.
Some people are saying that Tamashoho's ear has gone.
Right.
That-
So it's just clay, maybe.
Well, that the bandages are covering up, nothing.
All I can think of is using the hand in Zelda to attach
Yeah,
an
an
ear
ear.
to him. I can't stop thinking about that. I'm starting to have dreams about it. What's it called? The Ultra Hand.
Ultra hand. So, yeah, you can see there, we speculated a week ago today that he'd gone for an ear piercing that had got infected. But now with the whole ear covered, I mean, that's a bad infection.
Yeah, I mean, it has to be an infection somewhere, doesn't it? But maybe he went for one of those high-up piercings. I did that when I was 17 or something.
Yeah.
Just wanted the one in the top bit.
Yeah. Oh, here we go, the split screen. Nice. Abema TV making a new email address to get a trial version of the split screen technology that will expire in 24 hours.
69.com, abema70.com, abema80.com, @gmail.com. Try emailing abema69@gmail.com. Don't know what had happened there. Something would be there, that's for sure. Atamifuji, he's feeling it a bit. He's doing his rituals. And he's seeing some reward. Tamashoho, as usual, down very early, crowding up on the Shikiri-sen. He comes forward quickly, but it's Atamifuji who steps forward once, twice, shoves the smaller Tamashoho on the chest, out.
Well, I think Tamashoho fans would be disappointed with that showing today. That early pull was his undoing, and Atamifuji, we'll see on the replay, was very, very quick to step into that space. So he's starting off with a longer run-up, Atamifuji, but just crowded Tamashoho. I think that was a panic pull. So, Atamifuji puts the brakes on Tamashoho's excellent 6-1 run. Atamifuji himself moves to 6-1.
Giving himself every opportunity here to stay in the race. There are guys ahead of him, but they could lose today. Ochi coming into today on 7-0. Bushozan coming in at 6-1. Gonoyama looks, to be honest, the most in form. He hasn't lost yet either, but Atamifuji keeping himself in there. I love when guys end up on the Tawara, legs spread down in the crouch, just feeling themselves. So Atamifuji did really, really well there.
Our next bout, Takakento up against Daiamami. Takakento at Juryo 7 coming in on 3 wins and 4 losses. Daiamami the same. Day 8, you'd love to be going in 4-4 rather than 3-5. Takakento lost the first 3 days. Picked up 2 wins. Got a Fusensho when Tochinoshin retired.
Yep.
And lost yesterday, but good signs from Takakento this time around. I've found his sumo to be very positive. It's been looking strong. He's out there to win, no doubt about it.
I'm wondering when Aqua is going to take on the belly display from Takakento. That'll be the next thing he could take on. What else could he take on from people? He could take on the fingers from Atamifuji. Separating the fingers. That's not, you don't get a clap for that. He just wants to do things that you get a big cheer for.
Well, I think the thing that would be great would be if he did the Hokutofuji fist to the forehead move.
Yeah, that's nice. He might start taping up his shoulder in a terrible manner. If you missed it before, we were just saying that Aqua has taken over the huge salt throw of Terutsuyoshi. He's been doing it for the last 2 days. He hasn't won on either of those 2 days.
Well,
so it's a bit of a bad vibes thing for him, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, Terutsuyoshi didn't have a lot of luck with it towards the end. But, I mean, that's the genius of Aqua, isn't it? You can hear a few lone voices of people screaming out for both Takakento and Daiamami. Nothing like getting on the beers at about midday. By the time Juryo rolls around, you are neck deep and you want to see your favourite boys go around. A lovely shot here of the heavily, well, I wouldn't even call that taped. That's more your paper mache plaster work there on Daiamami's left knee. Well, and a contrasting shot. Beautiful. I mean, this is what you go to film school for.
Man in the crowd with the same phone case as myself. Good choice.
Great
young
choice.
Man. You've done well there. Not that one with all the stickers on it. Daiamami had 3 wins in 3 losses in a row, days 4 to 6. One yesterday, and would love to get another one here.
Looks like the Gyoji's ready for them to go. Takakento, what's he going to do with that stomach? Again, a big focus on the feet. Slow pan up to see him present the stomach. And that's a long one. Daiamami could not take his eyes off at that time.
No claps for him this time around.
Absolutely
he is
not.
Not getting what he deserves for that.
People are stunned. Daiamami is absolutely shaken to his core. What can he do here now? His mind in tatters. Takakento down first.
So low.
So low. Daiamami puts the hands down, come forward. Takakento trying to attack high, but it's Daiamami. Accurate thrust to the chests of Takakento there.
What a man can do with his mind in tatters, I tell you these days.
Gee, I tell you what.
Daiamami, he just discarded everything he'd previously thought, took the image of the belly and just said, I want to get that out of here.
Well, maybe. What a demonstration of mental fortitude there for Daiamami as we take the replay. Where did it go wrong for Takakento?
Well, he was on an angle. His feet didn't quite keep up with him. And when he started to move his feet, it was too late. And Daiamami had already made him step back. Daiamami also enjoyed the dump down off the doyo, falling onto the shimpan. So all of Takakento's beautiful preparations and almost wins over Ochiai's were for naught. He got nothing out of it today. And he moves to 3 and 5. The big difference between, as you were saying, the 4 and 4 and the 3 and 5, much more than just one win.
Can make that second week feel very, very long. The next 2 competitors up on the doyo, Tokihayate up against Chiyonoumi. Now, you've been saying the word Tokihayate quite a lot around the house.
Yeah. I have to say that I am enjoying his sumo, and I think I might be becoming a fan.
Okay. He's the 26-year-old from Miyagi-Ken. His birthday is one day before mine, many years later, August 25th, 1996. In his debut Juryo performance, 4 and 3, I think we'd call this a success so far coming into the middle day. His opponent, Chiyonoumi.
Yeah, 30 years old from Kisebeya.
The Okinawa native. I feel like Chiyonomi's been a little bit unlucky this week with his sumo. Continues that good form that we saw back in March, but just isn't putting the white dots next to his name so far.
Certainly in March, he rescued himself from the doldrums after 2 4-11s in a row with a Kachikoshi and even a 9-6. But yeah, unable to quite find that form here this time around, and coming up against Tokihayate, who's 4 and 3 on day 8. It's not easy for him. He's beaten Daiamami, he's beaten Takakento, but lost to Atamifuji, Shimizoumi, Ochi. Fair enough, but also Hakuyozan.
Daniel has given us some intel saying that there's a Tokihayate baby photo. Daniel, we haven't seen that, so if you're able to send that through or tag us in socials on that, I think we're going to need to see that photo very, very soon.
Yeah, I missed all the baby photos this time around in the introductory Juryo video, so anytime you see a great one of those, please tag Sumo Mainichi. We would love to see it. We'll absolutely retweet that because they show such awesome photos. Nice to also have someone else to support from Tomokaze Baya. And he breaks Tokihayate. It is a mata. Just a very gentle one. Just a brief touch of the chest. I'm sorry.
Feels like he's got a lot of filling out to do, Tokihayate.
Yeah. He's a small guy. He jumps forward again. Not much at the touchy eye there. He grabs Chiyonomi's arm, but it's Chiyonoumi who pushes forward with it. Tokihayate unable to lock it up, and he ends up pushing him out.
Yes, that was a battle of strength that Chiyonoumi won very comfortably there as we take the replay. You can see here, Tokihayate was looking for that right-hand belt grip, couldn't find it. While he was doing that, Chiyonoumi kept the feet stable, powered forward. Comfortable win for Chiyonoumi, who goes into the second week on 4-4, as does Tokihayate. Let's jump straight into this next bout, because this is going to be a big one. Ochi 7-0, up against Shimizoumi, who is on 5-2 at Juryo 6, but in some rare form, I would say.
Yes, he looked so great on the first 5 games. All wins. But as he hit Atamifuji and Bushozan, he wasn't able to finish it out. He was thrust down one day, or pulled down one day, Hatakikomi, and thrown the other, Sukuinage, and just looked like his timing had just gone a little bit. Maybe starting to feel the pressure of those 5 wins, you know, start to feel pretty good about yourself, start to feel a little bit more of the weight of sumo when you step up on the doyo every day, and just the Atamifuji proved too much for him, and today he's found himself up against Ochi. Ochi still managing to win even with this shoulder injury.
Yeah, he's really impressed me this week. It hasn't been all one-way traffic though with Ochi. He has been taken back to the bales on a number of occasions, but just the raw power and stability and calmness he's able to bring to being in those less favourable positions.
Yeah.
He's got a good sumo head, this kid.
Absolutely. I think that's such a good point. He isn't always in a good position, and I think that's probably partly because of sumo, but also because of his injury. And he's able to get out of it every single time. He doesn't give up on the bales. He doesn't even look close to being in trouble almost. He's someone who you inherently start to trust when he gets in a tricky position, because he always manages to somehow get out of it. It's really enjoying to watch.
Tell me, what sense do you get of the severity of Ochiai's left shoulder injury just by watching his sumo?
Well, we commented that the tape looked kind of so weirdly put on that it can't have been doing anything, and that maybe it was a bit of a show tape. But he's kept it on every day. So this is day 8 now. We've seen it the same. We've seen even perhaps a little bit more, especially in that support area around under the shoulder. And so I think it is necessary. I think the injury is definitely there.
All right, the Gyoji is ready to let these two kids do what they do best, and that's the sport of sumo. Shimizoumi down first.
Oh.
A little bit of
sorry,
mate.
Sorry
about that. And they get ready to go again. Some mind games here at the Tachiai as we see Shimizoumi break. I feel like we might have a bit of difficulty agreeing on a Tachiai between these two. Tells me that they both think that the opening milliseconds of this bout are going to be crucial as the Tokyo crowd goes, I'll say bananas. Here we go again. Here, Shimizoumi gets under the arms of Ochi, but Ochi establishes a strong right-hand belt grip, gives it a wobble, gets the left hand on. Shimizoumi tries to get inside, but I reckon he stepped out before he went down there. Powerful sumo from Ochi. Kachakoshi. There it is. 8 wins. This guy looks unstoppable.
Absolutely the real deal. Just controlling Shimizoumi so carefully there. He is fast, but he also looks like he's thinking about every single thing he does. And to be able to get on the belt here and stop this obviously premeditated, very fast Shimizoumi attack, and to get on the belt and to stop Shimizoumi being able to shake him off, to stop the makakai there, the grip flip, and to just stay with Shimizoumi and take him back over, that was really clever.
That was very risky from Shimizoumi to try to maneuver that right arm inside.
I think he had to. He must have felt like he had to try something there, because Ochi was so much in control. He tried to shake him off twice, but there was just no budging there. He's strong and locked on.
Monster Dong 420, could not agree more. I feel that, we see a lot of Juryo, we see a lot of kids coming through with a lot of potential. Ochi is probably the first Rikishi that I've seen in recent years who I believe. I really believe. He's so young. I guess the question's going to be about keeping himself injury-free, keeping himself fit, but the head is there, the body is there, the vibe, most importantly, is there.
Huge vibe.
Huge vibe.
You just feel it, and it's hard to describe, and that's when you know that the sumo vibe is real.
Oh, that's so true.
If you can talk about it too much, it's not real.
Oh, my
it's just
God.
you trying to manufacture something.
Okay, well, you've just invented a new test. If you can talk about someone's sumo and you can articulate it, it's not sumo do. It's not the real vibe of sumo. Ochi 8-0 continues on his rampage. Shimizoumi 5-3, so that's 3 losses in a row for him, right?
Yep. And I wouldn't say he's lost it or anything. I think he's just come up against some of the skilled in-form Rikishi, and he's hit his ceiling there. I don't think there's any problem here. I think he should take it as an encouragement to keep going. Tim, can you let us know what colour T-shirt you want in the chat? And if anyone else wants a Sumo Mainichi T-shirt, then you can grab them from Redbubble. Tim does get one because he called the Day 3 Henka of Shoma.
But he was also there
competition.
in real life.
Saw it.
That is incredible.
With his own eyeballs. I can't imagine.
Yeah.
So cool.
Incredible. Our next two combatants, Bushozan up against Hakuyozan. Now, Bushozan.
Yes.
Joins us back in Juryo after going 5-10 in March. And I'll say it, he looked a bit hopeless.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
But
the nerves.
Well, I wonder. It was his first time up there, and we have seen that just the occasion can be too much. But coming back here at Juryo 3, 6-1, I think we might be seeing him back in the top division very soon.
Well, I, for one, would love to see that. Hakuyozan, at only 28 years old. You know, I always think that this guy's older.
So Hakuyozan comes in, pushes high, thrusting attacks, but Bushozan's able to weather the storm here and now turns the tables on Hakuyozan, pushing and thrusting the big man over the line.
Another fantastic win, and the Bushozan fans in the crowd, along with myself, cheering on for him.
So good to see Bushozan doing well.
It's really, really great.
I think that when we first saw him rising up through Juryo, the Takakento comparisons were everywhere.
Yep.
We didn't quite see his pushing thrusting sumo be quite as effective. And look, what we saw today as we see the replay here, you wouldn't describe as clean.
No.
But it was effective.
And what he needs to start to do is stop being thrust down, because he is short, he's small, he's prone to that happening. And I feel like it's happening way less now.
Absolutely. So great to see Bushozan back in form. He goes into the second week, 7-1, Hakuyozan 4-4. Take us through this next bout, or preview this next bout for us. What needs to be said about Asamaryu on 1-6 versus Enho on 0-7? Asamaryu having a 9-2 record against Enho.
Well, I'll tell you what Asamaryu should be feeling, and it's absolute outrage that everybody is still cheering for Enho. No matter what, the crowd going for Enho, even with his record, but even with this taping, taping.
I just want to take a quick moment to just reflect on what we saw there. Vertical pieces of tape running along the spine. This is not good news for Enho fans.
No, it's starting to really show now that there are big issues with him. This tape is holding him up.
Yeah, I suspect you're right there. I don't know a lot about spinal medicine. I do know that a lot of important messages travel up and down that particular part of the human anatomy. I don't think whacking a few bits of tape up there are really going to help at this stage.
Well, I mean, you're an expert in the taping journals. You've been in them before. What do they say about spinal taping?
I think we've got to go a long way back. I mean, a lot of the tape researchers count vertical spine taping in the same way that we consider leeching now. It's primitive. We realise that it's, it's like humours. It's like moving the bad blood around.
And the skull thing. Phrenology.
Phrenology. Yeah. What does the big forehead of Enho say to us today?
Well, it says, please don't give me Makukoshi, or maybe do and I can sit out. Do you think he would go Kyujo here?
Oh, it's a great question. Juryo 3. Oh, I think Enho, I would say historically has been good at fighting through injuries, generally speaking. He's good at managing his own body and working with what he's got. It's just that it's such a pity to see this at Juryo 3 knocking on the door of a return to Makuuchi. And as we've spoken about many times over the last few months, just a return to the magic of Enho. This is a huge tragedy.
Well, there's been an interesting point made in the chat. He needs to recover. He's good enough to make it back up to Juryo, even if he goes Kyujo for a while. I think he has to be given the chance here, because he's not going to, with these injuries, it seems like he's not going to recover.
Ben Marshman has the Excel spreadsheet open.
Ready
He's
for the henker.
Calling a henker on this one.
I think it's likely. Enho looking up to the skies for support. There's nothing there, Enho. Only Asamaryu, who's very tall. Enho comes forward into Asamaryu. He doesn't manage to budge Asamaryu back. And do you know, I think Asamaryu is being very careful with him here. That looked like a child playing with a doll, where the child was really being careful not to rip its head off. That, I feel like he has to go Kyujo now.
Yeah.
Also, that makes me love Asamaryu. He was so careful with him.
He was very, very careful, and we'll see on the replay. Even the Gyoji seemed to know not to pull this Tachiai up as a mata. He let it go.
Yes.
He knew this was a foregone conclusion, even though Enho seemed to break.
Big old mata.
And as you said, just the care with which Asamaryu handles Enho probably pushed him a little bit hard there at the end in the face, but...
Well, he started to worry there.
Yeah.
He was like, okay, I've got to be really careful. And he's like, hang on, this guy could pick up my leg.
It's very, very hard to watch. So Oshidashi win there for Asamaryu. Enho 0 and 8 Makukoshi.
We are on salt watch here, though. Let me take us to a nicer topic, and that is of Aqua's salt throw.
Well,
although
I guess
I will answer this question. Who's in worse shape? Enho or Chiyonokuni? It's got to be Enho after that. Because he's younger.
I think so. And again, I think I saw something in the chat earlier that I didn't get a chance to respond to. Who was looking more injured? Maybe Chiyonokuni or Tochinoshin, I can't remember. It feels like there's one way to find out. And it's have them fight each other.
Yeah, just an unscheduled match.
Yeah.
Out in the car park. Well, Tochinoshin, he doesn't even have to worry about that anymore, and that's the joy of Intai.
Okay, Aqua 1 and 6. I think my problem with Aqua, well, we see Tohakuryu on the screen at the moment, but there's Rikishi, and I'll use Tobizaru as an example here. Maybe not a great example, but there are Rikishi who, when they lose, ask themselves questions. There's a sense of reflection. There's a sense of what would I have done different.
Yeah.
I feel that Aqua does not do that. I feel that once he steps off the doyo, he doesn't think about sumo until the next day, or a car that his dad's driving careens into the back of a truck.
Is he thinking about how to achieve success or how to get famous, perhaps?
Well, we know he has a very successful side hustle. He's a jewellery maker.
We know that he has a side hustle. How successful is
Well,
it? Have you bought any jewellery for
I
yourself?
looked to see if he had an online store to buy some for your birthday one year.
Oh, that would be so cool.
Would be good. But, I mean, e-commerce and Aqua, it's not a match made in heaven. Again, once he stops making the jewellery, he just forgets about it.
Yeah.
And there's a pattern in what he does. Tohakuryu, he's a Juryo too. And I know he has a lot of critics out there, Tohakuryu.
He sure does.
Some of them in chat today.
Oh, here it is. Massive. Well, I mean, that's Terutsuyoshi. I'm sorry. It's a huge thing, and he's throwing it in a Terutsuyoshi style. And don't reward him. People are applauding it. Don't reward him.
I love it.
He's like a little kid.
I love it.
No, well, let's take the temperature on this. Who likes it and who doesn't like it? Please tell us in the chat. Okay, so you like it.
Looks like they're ready to go. Gunbai is pointed forward. They take their time getting down. Aqua sizing up the legs of his opponent. Maybe a Kakanage is on the cards, but he just comes forward. Tohakuryu doesn't need to do a lot of sumo pulls and sends Aqua over the bales.
Roga looking absolutely horrified to be landed on. And fair enough.
Is the salt throw a way to fire himself up?
Well, it's not working.
It's not working.
Because he's lost the 3 that he's done the salt throw for.
Well, looking at it today and having a good look at it, I mean, famously Terutsuyoshi's salt throw is 1.1 kilograms of salt. I feel like Aqua is struggling to push 500 grams there. It's just not enough salt.
Well, he would have a bigger hand than Terutsuyoshi. Oh, slams back into the Juryo there.
Roga there.
Roga probably pushed him back again. Yeah, Tohakuryu not wanting a bar of that touchy eye there. And a much-needed win for Tohakuryu at Juryo 2 here. What I was going to say before they, rudely had the match was that Tohakuryu has fought his way to the top, and that means that he's been doing some kind of good sumo, whether you like it or not, but he hasn't managed to spring himself out into Makuuchi, and this time it doesn't look like, with 4 losses in the previous days, that he would do that either, but with a win today, you never know.
Up next we have Gonoyama versus Roga. I think we're in for an absolute treat here. Hype match, no doubt about it. Gonoyama 7-0 coming into today on at Juryo 1, I should say, looking like the absolute real deal. His sumo is sharp, his confidence is high. Roga, though, has looked very, very good at Juryo 4, his highest rank, I believe. On 5-2, this could be a very interesting bout.
Absolutely. Roga is so strong, so tall, and young, full of energy, doing great sumo. He lost yesterday, but that's okay. Their record against each other is 2-2, so there's no signs there of who's got the upper hand. But Gonoyama has just looked in such great form this time around.
Backing up that amazing 11-4 performance from Juryo 6 back in March, he's 7-0 now, and we've had it confirmed by Team Sumo in the chat that a win today will confirm promotion to the top division for Gonoyama, so that is hugely exciting.
Love to have that confirmed.
Yeah.
Juryo 1, Kachikoshi, he will absolutely, definitely go up, and great news for him. I mean, you have to think he will anyway. Eventually he's going to get it this time around.
I wondered whether he wasn't a little hard done by with his 11-4 from Juryo 6, but the way the Banzuke played out, there was no room
he just
for
missed
him.
out, didn't he?
But what we see here is a Rikishi saying, it's okay, you made a mistake. You can't make a mistake with this performance. 7-0. Just exuding sumo from every pore of his body. He's like a human love letter to sumo, Gonoyama.
Why is it that the Rikishi who select really colourful Mawashi always seem to be struggling? Well, maybe that's why they select the Mawashi, because they need to pep themselves up, or they need to show themselves off. They're a little bit distracted, maybe.
Could be.
They're not just happy with getting on with it and doing great sumo. I don't know. A little bit showy.
Well, you'd call this probably one of the marquee matches for Nakabi Day 8. Looks like they're ready to go.
Gonoyama looks super calm as he has this whole basho. No stares, no funny business. Just getting on with his brand of sumo Roga. Looks like he's on the hunt here. And a fast touch out. Roga comes forward on the belt. Gonoyama steps out. Roga goes down. Roga with a wry smile. It's happened. That is a win for Gonoyama. He has just managed to escape there. I have to say I wasn't sure that happened very quickly. I wasn't sure which way that one was going to go.
Well, let's have a look at the replay here. No doubt Roga did everything right here. Great touchy eye, great grip on the front of the belt here, but Gonoyama. Brilliant. Great ring sense, knew exactly how much he had to play with. Steps back calmly. Not sure if he had a belt grip there. Toshi.
So I think yes. Then.
Yeah.
It looked like he grabbed the belt as he went
he
past.
must have.
But those kind of moves that happen too fast for you to see them in real time, they're so cool because it means that he's reacted on absolute dime. He's just he's let his body take over the way Takakento does, or wants to at least. And just as Roga has come at him, he's felt everything go wrong and he's able to react and do something about it. That was really, really impressive from Gonoyama. Joins Ochi in the lead on 8-0.
This is our final bout of Juryo.
Oh, no.
Why does it go by so quickly?
Have another one.
But two great competitors to close out day 8. Shoma at Juryo 4 coming into today on 5-2. Shimanoumi on the same score from Juryo 1. As we see Gonoyama take a well-deserved sit down, knowing that come July, he'll be one of the big boys making his debut at the top division.
And ex-Goeido very happy with that as well. His Oyakata, and I feel like I can see a little bit of Goeido's influence in Gonoyama's sumo.
Absolutely.
Maybe
There's
that's
something
why
about him.
they get on. Maybe that's why he's done so well, because they identify with each other's styles, perhaps. I don't know how it always works as a coach in sumo, but certainly can see that sort of forward motion, that no-nonsense sumo that Goeido had as well. Shimanoumi, he is going well. He's at Juryo 1, so keen to get up as well, keen for that kachikoshi. He's only had 2 stumbles, Gonoyama and Bushozan.
Fair enough.
Yeah, fair enough. But one against Enho, of course, but also Roga yesterday. So showing great sumo.
On your screen at the moment, Shoma coming in at Juryo 4. Not quite his highest rank. He achieved that back in January of this year, where he was at Juryo 3. Went 7 and 8. This came after his incredible 11-4 Yusho that happened in November of last year. We thought we'd see a very quick rise through Juryo, but look, the competition is very, very stiff. There's no doubt about it. He went 8-7 in March and finds himself staying at Juryo 4, 5-2. Still very much knocking on the door.
Got some taping on the right shoulder as well.
Now, this is the same lady who is holding up the Chiyonokuni banner. Now, do you see the contrast? Smiling, happy, optimistic. I feel that she is the reason Chiyonokuni lost today.
Damn. That's so rude to do that to someone. Rude. Just to be responsible for
Kick
their
her
whole
out.
Makakoshi.
Security. Kick her out. And maybe retirement.
Yeah, that's right.
Let's dox her. It's not on.
Shoma's tape looks nice. It's a bit of cross work.
Crosshatch.
Actually, now I look at it, it's not that good.
It's pretty good.
I think we need a tape Olympics. We need to rank everybody's tape in Juryo.
All right.
15.
It looks like they might be ready to go here. Your final bout of Juryo, Natsu Basho 2023. Shimanoumi off the long run up here. Shoma attacking high, but it's Shimanoumi who is able to control this bout with high thrusting attacks, hitting Shoma on the chest.
I don't think Oshoma's Genki.
Something looked amiss there, didn't it?
He just backed off. He ran away.
Well, we can see, as you said, that right shoulder taped quite heavily. Certainly not coming at this bout with the same spirit and fight.
ただいまの決まり手は押し出し押し出して湘南の海の勝
Shoma's
ち
movement here. He was pushed away, thrust to the side for sure. Yeah, just no, he wasn't backing off. It was just a push.
It was the
Put him in a
pressure.
terrible situation. Yep.
The pressure was there. We had a question in the chat from Stephen Lee. How come you guys don't stream Makuuchi? Just curious.
Well,
Why
I
don't
mean, I
we?
can answer that. Why don't we? Is the question.
I think there are a number of reasons. So I think reason number one is that we do the podcast, which primarily covers Makuuchi. Secondly, Juryo's a tight 1 hour, whereas Makuuchi is a more free-flowing 2 hours. Three, we're mostly able to commit to 1 hour on a Sunday 6 times a year.
Yeah, because what we don't want to say is that we're doing something ongoing and then we're not able to.
Yeah, so we feel this is very sustainable. We also feel there's so much coverage of Makuuchi out there, and that NHK has English commentators. So I think there's ways for people to access English commentary for the top division. Well, okay, the king. Asaniyama.
People
That's
just
big.
obsessed with it.
So they were 4 reasons. Reason 5, I would say, is that
Juryo rocks.
Juryo rocks. And we want to shine a bit more of a light on Juryo. It's a great division. There's always something going on. And I think finally reason 6 is that as we've changed the format of the daily podcast, it's nice to be able to sit down and enjoy Makuuchi.
Yeah.
Not that I don't enjoy this. I enjoy this a lot. It's just that it's just a time thing.
Yeah.
But thank you for the question.
Yeah, thank you so much. And thank you for asking, because I think it's important that we explain why we do what we do. We love so much talking about sumo, and what's particularly good about this is to be able to hang out with everybody and see everyone's amazing comments.
Totally.
Like, we're talking here, but a lot of the amazing
The insight.
discourse and
Yeah.
insight is going on in this chat, and we're trying to read it from a distance because we're old and our eyes are bad. But you know,
Thank you for including yourself in my bad
no,
eyesight.
I mean, that's quite small for me.
It is
as
very
well.
small.
But yeah, it is just so awesome to have everyone together to watch sumo, and we're doing Juryo for now. We're not taking it for granted, and we really appreciate everyone here. We'll be doing the podcast as usual tonight. Thanks so much to everyone. It's lovely to see new names and new faces, new what do you call these?
Handles.
Circles.
Icons.
Yeah, new icons in the chat. Thank you so much, and we'll see everyone next week for our Juryo stream on day 15. That'll be exciting.
Sure will.
Hopefully Juryo won't be decided.
Thanks for
Might be.
joining us today. We'll see you next week.
Bye.
Yeah.